This is your radio, Cayman.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy. Taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 7th day of June 2023, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Again, those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please, 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 please be extremely cautious. Make sure that you observe the rules of the road. If you are unsure of the rules of the road, then go back and look at the road code. If you don't have one of those books, I'm not sure if there's something online, then get it. Because it is important for you to be able to protect yourselves on the roads of the Cayman Islands, while at the same time protecting others as well. The same way that you're driving to your job in the morning and you know that you have to know your job in order for you to perform, to properly perform. The same way that you know that your clients have high expectations of you and they are depending on you. Every road user has expectations and they're depending on the other road users as well. You are not alone on the roads of the Cayman Islands. So please observe the rules if you know them. If you don't know them, familiarize yourselves with them as well. Because please remember, the life that you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a belated happy birthday, and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson Building. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, the phone lines are open, and still not yet on vacation in the control room, waiting to take your calls, none other than that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. Where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note. We can also receive calls from that number as well. Only one call at a time on that number, though. Only one call from that number. You can follow us on YouTube. You do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Follow us on Facebook if you so wish as well. And let's look at some of the birthdays now. Again, the birthday shout-out is being brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson Building. So today's birthday we have, and I'm going to try to do the French on this because I know it is, Robert Barreau. Some may pronounce it Robert Barreau. Robert Barreau, he's celebrating a birthday today. Royan Roots, celebrating a birthday today. Miss Lorna Bennett also celebrating a birthday today. And tomorrow we have Lisbeth Seymour, who's celebrating a birthday. Tracy Kraft, Delrose Crawford, and Elsie Hyde, all celebrating birthdays tomorrow, so you want to wish them a happy birthday when it comes. Belated happy birthday, R.C. De La Cruz. He celebrated his birthday 2 days ago. Those of you who are in the cycling community here in the Cayman Islands, you would remember R.C. De La Cruz, who used to be a bicycle mechanic at Uncle Bill's. He's back home in the Philippines, raising a family and everything, so I want to give a belated birthday shout-out, greetings to R.C. De La Cruz as well. Okay, so this morning it is my pleasure to have in the studio, not the governor of the Cayman Islands, but if Mary Street had a governor of its own, then it would be Governor Dr. Steve McField from Mary Street. Doc, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your listeners in For the Record land. Listens to you Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and all the people in the Cayman diaspora who listens to you also. Good to be back with you. I noticed that you had a really great interview with Her Excellency,
yes,
the governor.
Thanks. And
she handled herself really well. I know you put some hard questions to her, and I was impressed with how she answered the questions. A pure diplomat, and her credentials are really really up there.
Impeccable, yeah.
Impeccable. I think she was probably the most qualified governor that ever came here.
Yeah, well-rounded, yes.
Well-rounded. I mean, she's not been in just under the foreign Commonwealth office. She's been ambassadors to many European countries and even as far as Japan, I think, yes.
Yeah.
So she's very impressed. I met her once at the Boundary Commission, myself and Dr. Hadley and Adriana Webb, who were all the other commissioners. And we were quite impressed too with her knowledge and her eagerness to understand and to learn. And I think that came across in your interview also.
Yes, yeah. Thank you very much for that, Doc. So, Doc, some of the things that I want to discuss this morning, and the segment before the governor came on Monday, we talked about different things. We see, more concerns about foreclosures on properties that are, under mortgage agreements. And I want to talk a little bit about that. I invited on air just to get some feedback from anyone who was familiar with the Cayman Islands Development Bank. So I took it upon myself yesterday to go on their website to do some research, because my question was, were they involved in mortgages? And I want to share some of that with our listening and viewing audience this morning as well. Also, I want to talk a little bit about this article in Cayman News Service about Miss Heather Barton. It says, MP says she's acting for people, not profits, re the road. And that's the extension to the east-west arterial. And the only reason that I am going to focus a little bit on this was because Miss Heather, when she was questioned about it by the reporter, she said exactly, what her intentions were. She wasn't into it for her own personal good. She's there to represent the people, and it was, she was acting on behalf of the people of her constituents and the people of the Cayman Islands, and not for her. And, I believe her. She's a genuine person, and I believe her. I've seen some negative comments in some. Many have been very positive in the comment section on Cayman News Service. But the only reason that I want to talk about it is because I want to focus on the code of conduct for members of Parliament and how important that was. Because, while she's being honest and everything, and she explained to the reporter the fact that she was in it, and she was looking out for her people, not for her own personal good. It would have been instructive if either at the beginning of her debate, during her debate, or at the end of her debate, that she indicated that her family owned property in that area that may be impacted by the road going through there. Just simply, so, just a matter of declaring it, just like how you do on the show. You say, well, I'm a member of this board, so I have to be careful what I say, or I can't say anything at all. And now I try to look to see whether or not she should have declared an interest and absent herself from the debate, but she's there to represent her people, so she has to do that as well. So I don't think that was would have been proper for her to say, well, because my family owns property there, I don't want to debate it. Also, the article points out correctly that in the register of interests, she does list as being one of the owners, or the family members of that own that particular property. So she wasn't trying to hide anything. So the discussion today, folks, when we talk about this here, is not to criticize Miss Heather, not to point fingers, but to demonstrate to you how the system is designed to work, so that we have that transparency that is there, and just to look and see whether or not in this particular case the system actually functions the way that it should. Doc, any comments?
Well, so there's other members of the Parliament owned properties that the road is going to impact also.
Okay.
Other members in the Parliament, and I thought she got it right. Right, because don't forget, Mr. For the record, that in a democracy, the interests of the people in a democracy is paramount and supreme, and that interest, their interest is reflected through the people who they elect to vote for them to articulate that interest. So I think that she was right when she says that it's not her personal interest in it, is she represents the people. She's got that right, because that's what democracy is all about. And the fact that her family happens to own property, it's only a sort of coincidence, really, because other members of the Parliament have property in that area, not in that particular area, but in the route of the east-west arterial, and it's going to be impacted as well. And if all of them had to declare their interest and say, I can't speak on it, you
No one would be speaking.
probably would not have any debate.
Yes.
So a lot of people do not understand how democracy works. She does represent the majority of the people because the people are supreme, and the people's interests are reflected through her, that they elect to protect their interests or to reflect their interests, and that's what she's doing. Exactly.
Yeah, and she, like I said, she handled the reporter well,
Yes.
and her answer, it wasn't something that. She had to get some talking points from some consultant or something. It came from her heart. Listen, I represent my people, and that's what it is all about. Folks, we have to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Dr. Steve McField. We will look at the parliamentary code of conduct in the Cayman Islands and talk a little bit about that. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Annie Huldah Bodden, OBE. Miss Annie's career began in 1924 as secretary to Edmund S. Parsons' law agent. She continued to work with him when he was appointed clerk of the courts. Her life was one of firsts. She was the first female secretary of the Cayman Islands Motor Boat Company and the first woman government auditor. She became the first female attorney at law and in 1962 the first nominated female member of the Legislative Assembly. In 1964, Miss Annie was elected as MLA for Georgetown and served until 1984. She was affectionately known as the Mother of the House. She was a lifelong member of Elmslie Memorial United Church and its predecessor, Elmslie Presbyterian.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture. Tap into your roots. More Than Words bookstore in the Thompson Building. Supplies local books, gifts, trinkets, keepsakes, wall plaques, and journals. The hub for local authors. More Than Words. So much more. More Than Words is now open. Shop number 4, second floor, Thompson Building. Or call 936-5544.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited, Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
If custom closets or new kitchen cabinets are on your wish list, now is the time to strike them off the list. Brand Source Home Gallery is offering 20% off on kitchen cabinets and custom closets. Now until Saturday, June 10th. Go in now before the sale event ends on June 10th, and you'll have until August 31st to save 20% on the purchase of your dream custom closets or kitchen cabinets. Brand Source Home Gallery's 20% off kitchen cabinets and custom closet sale, ending June 10th. Sign up, get a voucher, and purchase before August 31st. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive or call 623-5000 for details.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than Dr. Steve McField. So, folks, we're going to look at the parliamentary code of conduct for our parliamentarians here in the Cayman Islands and share some information with you about the purpose of the code. Right? The purpose of the code of conduct is to articulate the standards to which all members of Parliament agree to hold themselves to, and in that context, to guide members in the discharge of their obligations to the Parliament, their constituents, and the public at large by A, establishing the standards and principles of conduct expected of members in undertaking their duties, B, setting the rules of conduct which underpin the standards and principles and to which all members must adhere to, and C, ensuring public confidence in the standards and principles of conduct expected of all members and the commitment of the Parliament to upholding the rules of conduct. The scope of the code is it applies to members in all aspects of their public life. Members should be aware that while they are entitled to privacy in their personal lives, the very nature and profile of their role as a member of Parliament makes differentiation, separation between their public and private life very difficult. So what that's saying, basically, there's a very, very thin line between a member of Parliament's private life and their public life. So when you decide that you're going to run for public office, you have to bear in mind that there are some privileges that you are giving up that you may normally enjoy as a private citizen that you are giving up. Goes on to say that as such, inappropriate conduct in their private life may negatively impact the public's trust, and thus this code may apply to their personal lives. And also the obligations set out in the code are in addition to any other obligations which apply to all members by virtue of the Constitution, the standing orders, the standards in public life, and any other relevant enactment. So now it talks about duties of members. By virtue of the oath of affirmation or allegiance taken by all members when they are elected to the Parliament, members have a duty to be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty the King, his heirs and successors according to law. By virtue of the oath or affirmation for the due execution of office taken by members. When they're elected to the Parliament, members have a duty to truly serve His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors, and the people of the Cayman Islands. So a member has a duty to uphold the law, including the Bill of Rights enshrined in the Constitution. A member has a general duty to act in the interest of the people of the Cayman Islands community as a whole, and a special duty to their constituents. And that is what Ms. Heather Borden emphasized when she was questioned by the reporter from Cayman News Service, that she was acting in the interest of her people and her constituents. Okay, a member should act on all occasions in accordance with the public trust placed in them, and a member should always behave with probity and integrity, including in their use of public resources. And then there are general principles of conduct, which include selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty as well. And then there's some parliamentary principles of behavior. There are rules of conduct that have to be observed as well. And, one of those rules of conduct, I want to find that, has to do with conflict of interest, and basically to declare when a conflict of interest may occur. And of course it tells you when there's a conflict what you should do, which is basically recuse yourself from the discussions. But like you heard Dr. McField opine, that in this particular case, it had to do with a debate in Parliament. And while it may have been better for the member to declare the fact that her family or she owned property in an area that may be impacted by the road, because it was only a private member's motion, no substantive decision was being taken at that point in time. And I believe even if a substantive decision, had to be taken, that I don't believe that in that particular case that she should have would need to recuse herself, because she needs to be part of the decision making, because she has to represent her constituencies.
Yeah, because she was not trying to sell her property to the government.
Exactly, yes.
And she was not asking for any concessions. So she had no conflict of interest. And the code. The code is not something new. Ori, you know that.
Yeah.
The code has been around for almost generations and generations now.
There's something called the Nolan Principle, the nine principles. Yes. Huh?
And the fact is also that the code of conduct codifies some of the old conventions in the Constitution. Like, for instance, if you can't agree with your cabinet, if you cannot agree with your cabinet, then you have to resign. That's one of the principles also with the code of conduct, that you have to respect collective responsibility. And one of the problems that I have seen in politics ever since I got to know something about politics is that once Caymanian politicians, some of them get in, you don't see them, and they think that it's their seat, that you can't speak to them now. They own the territory in which you sent them to represent you.
Yes. Yep. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Miss Susan, you ready for me? When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue. So please stay tuned. Don't change that dial. And remember, we're going to be talking about Cayman Islands Development Bank, the services that they offer as well, which may be a very viable alternative to you if you are encountering issues with your commercial bank that you're dealing with, especially when it comes to mortgages. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
Hey, have you started preparing for hurricane season yet?
Not yet. I'm not sure where to start.
Well, making a grocery shopping list is a good place to begin. You'll want to stock up on non-perishable food items like canned goods, peanut butter, and crackers.
What about water?
Definitely. You'll want to have plenty of bottled water on hand. And don't forget about hygiene and first aid supplies.
That's a good point.
Foster's has a great emergency kit checklist online. Just go to fosters.ky or look out for the helpful signs when shopping in store. Foster's. Better because we care.
Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. More Cubans have been repatriated to Cuba. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has the details.
The most recent repatriation flight we know of was Thursday. 3 men accompanied by Customs and Border Control officers left Cayman on a non-chartered Cayman Airways flight around 6 p.m. Customs and Border Control Director Charles Clifford expressed his appreciation to the officers for executing another, quote, successful operation. This brings the number of migrants repatriated since January to 74, and officials say more flights will be arranged as processing continues. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
With lawmakers set to return to Parliament this morning, the Speaker of the House, the Honorable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, is encouraging residents to tune in.
And even if you can't do it while you're at work, I challenge you to try to find a way to engage and just listen to what's happening here in this house, because this is where you, the public, have an opportunity now to reach out to your member of parliament and to express your support or your concerns. And this is how you engage people power, because at the end of the day, the people really have a whole lot more power than they're aware of.
The fourth meeting of the 2022-23 session of Parliament starts at 10 a.m., and you can listen live on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM. Today, the Premier is expected to present the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, which covers January to December last year. He's seeking approval for changes to government's expenditures. And are you a caregiver for an elderly person? If so, you're being asked to come out for hazard awareness training.
Elderly persons are obviously more vulnerable to impacts from disasters like hurricanes. As we age, our sense of smell, our sense of touch, hearing and sight are often affected, and our mobility declines as we age.
Hazard Management Cayman Islands Director Danny Coleman tells Radio Cayman this can make it especially hard for seniors in a post-impact environment when utilities may be interrupted and homes can be damaged. The good news is there are many things the country can do to help seniors prepare and become more resilient to hurricanes and other threats. For tips and strategies, you can sign up for the special training session for caregivers in West Bay and Georgetown areas on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. To register, you can call 949-0290. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. The President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, says hundreds of thousands of people are unable to access normal drinking water after the destruction of a major dam in the south of the country. He said tens of thousands of people remain stranded. 2 Russian villages are without power after allegedly being hit by a drone attack. The local governor of the Kursk region, which borders Ukraine, said an electrical substation was targeted. New figures show there has been a large increase in trade between China and Russia since the start of the war in Ukraine. Russian imports rose by 10% last month compared to a year earlier. The International Criminal Court has ruled that one of the last main suspects in the 1994 Rwandan genocide is unfit to stand trial. Judges said 88-year-old Felicien Kabuga wasn't capable of participating meaningfully in the proceedings. The Kenyan government says it has enough evidence to prosecute a Christian doomsday cult leader with genocide. Pastor Paul Mackenzie is accused of inviting followers to a remote forest before telling them to fast until they died. Poland's Prime Minister says he'll keep the controversial Turów coal mine open despite a court ruling that it must be closed down due to the damage it does to the environment. The Vatican has said Pope Francis will have an operation on his abdomen in Rome later today. The 86-year-old is expected to spend several days in hospital. The president of Taiwan has promised to improve complaints procedures after a number of sexual harassment claims involving senior politicians. Tsai Ing-wen has apologized for allegations involving members of her own party. A record number of students in China, nearly 13 million, are beginning their annual university entrance exams for the first time since strict COVID restrictions were lifted. That's the latest BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Bordentown, email rx-bt at valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio. The 22nd Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Humility, is here. Presented by the New Self-Help Foundation, Sunday, June 25th at the Hartwell Theatre. Awesome performances by Rico Rolando.
Yeah, she twerking off a band and I'm about to make a dance, yeah.
Dream Chasers, Radiance Dance Studio, UCCI Dancers, Centerpoint Dance Studio, Sparks School of Performing Arts, Dan Ebanks, and more. Hosted by Anika Connolly and Lloyd Barker. Part of the proceeds from the Talent Exposition go to support the training program of the arts. Tickets available from Number One Shoe Shop and Winner's Circle Sports. Prepaid $15 or $20 at the gate. The 2023 Talent Exposition of the Arts, Humility, Sunday, June 25th at the Hartwell Theatre. Gates open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Get your tickets today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. The barometric pressure is 29.88 inches and rising. The wind is out of the southeast at 4 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and slight seas are expected to continue across the Cayman Islands over the next 24 hours due to a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. The continuation of overcast conditions and shower activity is expected over the next few days as an area of disorganized showers drifts across the western Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman Islands moving towards the northeast. The forecast for today calling for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and some thunder, and showers will be locally heavy at times, leading to flooding of low-lying areas. Temperatures today will be in the upper 80s, winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, cloudy skies to overcast with a 60% chance of showers and thunder, and showers will be locally heavy at times, leading to flooding of low-lying areas. Temperatures will drop to the upper 70s tonight, winds will be light and variable, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 11:50 and a low tide again this evening at 6:13. The sun will set this evening at a minute after 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:47. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions expected to continue through Friday afternoon. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. Don't lie on your resume. Because if you say you've got trapeze experience, someone might shoot you out of a cannon and expect you to do a gymnast routine while flying through the air at 82 miles an hour. And just because you want to land on your feet doesn't mean you will. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance, so you get the best coverage for the price.
Get the best coverage for the price. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Brit-K, where people come first.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving our goals is rewarding, but at times can feel frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success. When setting goals, have a deadline for each step. Procrastination has a way of derailing effort. Setting a time to review progress helps to increase motivation because you know effort has contributed to small successes. Consider rewards if things are going well. If things are not going as well as you would like, a deadline gives you a chance to pause and reflect on the current goal to see if there may be something getting in the way of being able to get it done. Change your thinking and change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. Encourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look this time at traffic. On the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is bumper to bumper. Continuing on, let's look at what's happening from the Esteli Tibbetts Highway, steady but flowing traffic. And continuing on to North Sound Road, Industrial Park area, moderate flow of traffic. On Cool Road, traffic is bumper to bumper heading to Georgetown. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moving along moderately. And coming from the West Bay four-way stop, traffic flowing moderately as well. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic is flowing pretty good. And slow-moving traffic on Walker's Road heading to Georgetown. Steady but flowing traffic on Huldah Avenue and moderate flow of traffic on Elgin Avenue. Coming up at Bobby Thompson Way, traffic is steady. And that's the very latest on your traffic. If you see any accidents or incidents, give us a call or hit Radio Command 949-6990. We'll have another traffic report for you at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. Have a good morning and drive safe.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Britke. Good like that.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It's my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than Dr. Steve McField. But Doc has a very busy day ahead of him as well. I believe he's in court today and some other things as well. Before we go on to the conversation, we have another birthday shout out here. Mrs. Michelle Bryan, that is the wife of Member of Parliament and Minister, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan. She's celebrating birthday to her today as well, and they're listening from New York City. So happy, she's listening from New York City. Happy birthday to Michelle Bryan as well. Also, I've been advised that R.C. De La Cruz, that I wished a belated happy birthday to, and I say that, you know, he was back in the Philippines, but I'm told that R.C. is back in the Cayman Islands now. He's now, you know, working with another bicycle outfit. I guess I'll give him a plug, Jerome Amelie. He's working with Jerome Amelie. Well, if I'm going to plug one bike store, I may as well plug another one. Don't forget Uncle Bill's. They sell bikes as well. Craig Cycles, Mr. Craig Marin, or Olympian, he has his bike store as well. And Mr. Sheldon Anderson. Sheldon Anderson has a bike store as well. So RC is back on island. I guess I don't see the mechanics that much because Craig will tell you that as long as my bike is functioning, I continue to ride. I just ride and I ride and I ride. And it's only when something goes wrong with it then I go to the mechanic. Not like some other people who do their regular servicing and stuff like that. I need to do that. But I'm, you know, old-fashioned, you know. So at the end of the day, that's it. So, Doc, I'm told that the Code of Conduct hasn't been approved yet by Parliament. It says it has not been voted on by Parliament, and the person indicated that as far as they know, no opposition members had signed or agreed to it. And I did notice yesterday when I was researching this that the actual document on one site, I found the actual document with all of the signatures, and all members of the PAC team had signed it, and the rest was blank. So I said to myself, well, I wonder if they, signed, two different documents, why it isn't in here. So I'm told that, and I have now also received something from the opposition in relation to it, and I think we should have some comments. I'll find out during the commercial break. So, a couple of more things that we want to talk about, and I want to give our listeners some food for thought at the same time. This may, hit a note. We all have loved ones that we have lost and are buried in the Cayman Islands, in either in a private cemetery or in a public cemetery. And I see here, Doc, where the Department of Environmental Health has put out a media release reminding residents that public cemetery vaults shall not be altered without the prior written consent of the head of the department. And it reads, it has come to the DEH's attention that some vaults in public cemeteries have been painted in a different color other than original color white. We are kindly asking persons to repaint and restore any vault purchased in the public cemetery via the DEH and comply with the vault purchase and sale agreement signed, said DEH Director Richard Sims. Keeping the external surface of the public cemetery vaults unaltered and the prohibition of any vegetation being planted in a public cemetery are requirements agreed upon in writing by purchasers of burial vaults from DEH. And if you want any additional information, they have given the details on that. So at first when I read this, I didn't see any reference to any particular piece of legislation that prohibited vaults from being painted in a color than right, but it seems as if in the purchase agreement that is the case, that it is there. I wonder if that purchase agreement would be something similar in a legal sense to a restrictive covenant, Doc?
Well, it may be, or it could be, or it might be, but you think there would be some legislation either in the burial law or the cemetery law that says that all tombs have to be the same color. I know that in some duplex and some what's it called again? Strata.
Yeah.
You all the doors and outside doors and stuff have to be the same, similar and the same, and you have to. But that's in the law.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the law, and that's in the main document that regulates the strata.
Yeah.
I didn't know that even the dead body snub that they regulating what should be on top of them.
And the color, yeah.
The color, because if you want to put black granite or red granite or whatever, that should be your own choice. I don't think that should be the choice of in a purchase agreement. I mean that is going a little far.
Yeah,
because I'm concerned.
There are some vaults that actually have the granite all around
That's
it.
That's right.
And they're certainly not white.
Yes.
That's the case. But this is interesting, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone actually challenges this. But hopefully, our dearly beloved who have passed on can rest in peace.
Who would they challenge it on behalf? Would be on their behalf or on behalf of the dead? Suppose suppose the person said before their death that's how they wanted their tomb to be decorated.
Yes.
You know?
Interesting. Okay, Doc, one of our listeners has written earlier to us, and we're going to pause and critique this one a little bit here. Says, good morning. I am not following your logic regarding MP Heather Borden's position with the land ownership. Are you saying that she automatically is in the right because she, by virtue of being an elected member, would always do the right thing?
We didn't say that.
No, we didn't say that.
We didn't say that she's always do the right thing. We say on this point.
Yes.
On this point, whatever, if she said what she said, she has it right. Because that's what democracy is. She's not representing herself. She's the rights of the people who live in a democracy, the citizenship of the democracy, are supreme. And she's representing them by them giving her their power, but through an election, through a ballot to represent them, and she's representing them. We never said at all times. We never said that at all. She might be wrong tomorrow or the next day.
Yep, and then she said she could not, whether or not we're saying that she could not possibly have a conflict of interest. We're not saying that we actually say that there was, to a certain extent, what she should have done was declared and say, I have an interest.
Yes.
Whether or not it is conflicting at this point in time, but I have an interest in property there that is owned by my family, of which I am a member. So they go on to say, I'm sorry, but I cannot agree with your position. There certainly appears to be a conflict of interest, and the East-West Arterial will not greatly assist her constituents.
Well, that's that's a different question.
Yep.
It's not what we just said, that she represents all the people.
Yes.
And their interest comes before her interests.
Yep. And I'm going to read that part of the code as well. And then it says it will serve a greater purpose for those east of Savannah Newlands. It is quite possible that it will cause traffic to bottleneck in her constituency and negatively impact traffic flows.
Well, that's a different point again altogether.
And then they go on to say, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. No one, bar no one, is above the lure of selfishness and self-serving interest.
We didn't say that anyone was above. She was above that. Listen. The Arterial West is a public highway. It's not as if she was selling land to Dart or somebody else to build a road. And the government has the power of the principle of eminent domain. All people's land that the road pass over can be confiscated by the government or can be taken by the government to build a road. And that's compensation necessarily doesn't have to be paid. So I don't know what this person is making such a big fuss about. Nothing really, because nothing has arrived yet where she would have a conflict of interest. If they had gone to her and say, we want to buy your land for $200,000 or $500,000, then she would have to say, well, I have to declare this to my constituency and to the parliament in which I serve.
Yeah. Or if she was trying to sell her property to the government, or to someone else knowing quite well that the road was going through. And, I understand what the caller is saying, but there are, what the writers are, but there are politicians, there are people who get involved in politics simply because they want to be helpful, they want to help, they're not looking for anything at the end of the day.
Yes.
Because in many instances, they have it already. There's no need for them to do it. So there's some people who have, an altruistic reason for getting into politics as well. So we have to go to our commercial break. I want to remind our listeners and callers that the 1-800 number is not working. So the 949-6990 number and the 925-3261 number. Of course, we can only take one caller at a time on the WhatsApp number. That is 925-3261. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier. If custom closets or new kitchen cabinets are on your wish list, now is the time to strike them off the list. Brand Source Home Gallery is offering 20% off on kitchen cabinets and custom closets, now until Saturday, June 10th. Go in now before the sale event ends on June 10th, and you'll have until August 31st to save 20% on the purchase of your dream custom closets or kitchen cabinets. Brand Source Home Gallery's 20% off kitchen cabinets and custom closet sale, ending June 10th. Sign up, get a voucher, and purchase before August 31st. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive or call 623-5000 for details.
Prevention is key. Is your heart at risk? During the month of June, Baptist Health International is offering special pricing for cardiac CT scan for calcium scoring for just 99 CI to patients at high risk for heart disease, the leading cause of deaths worldwide. You are a candidate if you are 40 to 65 years old and have any of the following risk factors: obesity, current or recent smoker, family history of heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or diabetes. To request an appointment or for more information, call 749-3304 or visit baptisthealth.ky.
System one loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Ms. Susan, we have a caller on hold. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good. Good morning to Dr. McField.
Good morning, ma'am.
It makes me smile sometimes to some of the matters that get risen. I mean, I don't see the logic in the matter for Miss Borden and her having to recluse herself at LA at that point in that debate because she wasn't trying to obtain any pecuniary interest. So, you know, it just behooves me sometimes because when you think and you look at the numbers of persons who listen, even through Radio Cayman and the YouTube channels, or those that sit in Parliament and listen to the debates, and then we get these little tidbits that come up, it lets you wonder really, because she was only contributing to what the matter was at hand, and that is that there needs to be another road in order to alleviate the traffic congestion. That really has nothing to do with whether you own land or you don't own land. And there was no debate at that point as to like what you all just mentioned about the cost and the resale or the purchase of. At that point, naturally, she would have to recluse herself. But I don't know why we make issues out of things that we don't need to make issues out of. And it starts to black label somebody as if they're crooked and that their interest isn't primarily for the people. And if anybody knows Ms. Borden, that has never been her style.
Exactly, yes.
You know, I mean, you think about when she was in 20-something years ago and she started the Women's Resource Center and all of those things that she's contributed to. Those are where our focus should be. And then focus on things perhaps that have not been done if you feel that somebody who represents the people haven't done what they committed to do. Then let's focus on those areas. But I think we nitpick sometimes at things that I don't think we we need to spend time on, and it sort of puts people back as to whether they'll ever do any good, you know. There was another topic you were speaking on, and it's actually lost my mind now.
Well, we spoke about the vaults.
That's the one I wanted to talk to you about. I listened to that, and I think, seriously, we're concerned about the colors that people paint their
Exactly,
vaults.
yes.
I don't understand. If I wanted to paint my father's vault blue, because that was the color that we connected with him and he connected with us, what difference does it make? I mean, I just, it goes back to the same thing. We have watched those graveyards get to the point where sometimes you couldn't walk through them. You couldn't visit the vault. We've had people decorate theirs with tile. Are they going to get those persons to take the tile up off of their vault? I just don't really understand why we keep focusing on the things that we don't need to focus on. I know that my mother has complained to me in the BRAC about the standard of the graveyards and that they're unkept or they aren't tidy. That's an issue. We've had persons apply to have their loved ones not buried in a particular graveyard in Borden Town because the yard isn't conducive to visiting. It isn't conducive when there's rain. Why aren't those things sort of being targeted and dealt with? We're going to get concerned about. And people have been planting plants for years, and I understand the planting of a particular plant could destroy vaults and roots and so forth. We all understand that. But we don't even have security when it comes to persons putting plants in and then little flowers and persons going into the graveyard and removing them. I mean, if they really want to do something, let's look at what we're going to do for the living and let us focus on that. I mean, I don't know,
No, you're absolutely right, yes.
I think we got too much time on our hands if that's where we're at. And I got plenty of list of lots of things that we could be focusing on. My goodness, this morning I was just sitting back and I just thought, this could never be the discussion this morning that Mr. Connor and Dr. McField have to talk about.
Yes.
Well, I raised it because, I always go and look at the press releases that are put out by government, and, some are extremely informative and some are puzzling, and I found this one a little bit puzzling.
Well, I find it puzzling too. I just don't. We have too much time. That's where Parks and Recreation have too much time, because we got a list of things that they could really focus on. Anyway, I just thought that I'd share this morning, but really and truly, Miss Borden has done some good work in that district, and if people look at what she's done with the elderly and those who are in need, that's where their focus should be, and finding out how best we can continue to assist her in those areas.
Yep.
I just wish, ma'am, that all the politicians who were ever elected and will be elected could adopt the principles, the democratic principles that she has adopted in this position. And I have always said that a lot of Caymanian people, unfortunately, do not understand how the parliamentary, the democratic system works, and they are only speaking from their own personal vilification of other people, and that is a problem that we have in this country, and we are never going to move ahead unless they try to educate themselves or try to learn about the whole system in which we are governed.
Okay. Caller, I want to thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay then.
Have a great day. Please stay safe as well. This other listener has written and said, I feel that's a funny rule. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the dead, but my grandma's vault, person said, I painted it personally for her. It is yellow, her favorite color. I've not heard of such a thing that all vaults being painted white. Just my opinion, and that. So important. Well, I mean, I'm not comparing apples to oranges, but in Bermuda, for instance, there's a rule in Bermuda that all of the roofs have to be white.
Yes.
And of course, in those the traditional ones as well, they're made out of the limestone that's cut from from the rock, and they've made, and that is a rule, but you can't compare vaults and and houses. So back to this whole issue of the code of conduct, right, Doc? So here's what part of the code again says members shall base their conduct on a consideration of the public interest. And folks, when we use the term public interest, it is not really what the public is interested in.
Yes.
It is what is in the public
interest.
Right, or public good. Part of it. So it says that members shall base their conduct on a consideration of the public interest, avoid conflict between personal interest and the public interest, and resolve, this is the important part now, folks, and resolve any conflict between the two at once and in favor of the public interest. So the public interest will always and must always prevail and trump the private interest. And that is what Miss Heather Borden said to the reporter.
Exactly.
It wasn't about me, it wasn't about my land, it was about my people.
Yes, it wasn't about Newlands, bottlenecking in Newlands. It's about a road to benefiting the whole country.
Yep. Okay, I've been asked to do one other birthday shout out. Sometimes you may want to give us a little bit more information than you provide to us, but we can only go with what we have. This person says that they'd want to give a birthday shout out to Christopher, who is turning 29 years of age today. So Christopher, whoever you are, you will know it's you because you're 29 years of age today. So birthday greetings coming to you as well. So
well, you have sometimes you have to, like you said, you have to give more particulars.
Yes, yeah.
Because it was just what's today? Thursday. Today's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It was just on Monday, I think it was. They had me dead.
I heard about that. Yes,
and people were calling, and a lady came to my office really upset, shaking. And I say, I'm sitting here working behind my desk. I hope it's not my ghost. And my cousin Samuel McField, the manager for First Caribbean Bank, he was calling, and he had to take a picture of me behind my desk and send it out and say no.
Wow, people.
Because there's some other person named Steve McField too. In the community. And I understand there are several Steve McFields. And that's the reasons why I start putting the A
Steve McField
before my name Steve.
Yeah.
So they should be there. At least I should try to give more particulars, because there might be another Christopher who's also turning 29.
Okay, so this person wrote, Doc, and said, I wonder if the Commission for Standards in Public Life may have something to say about the non-declaration or admission of property ownership by MP Miss Heather Borden. This may have been an innocent oversight, but is it right? Sometimes we creep over a precipice. Not always do we jump over it. There was nothing substantial. It was a private member's motion that was, being debated. The private member's motion basically was saying that the government should, what the government should consider. We know what private members' motions are. They can take it and put it on the shelf. It is not legislation that is being passed. I say that in my opening comments that my view is that either before, during, or after her contribution, that it would have been prudent for her to mention the fact that her family owns land in that area. That, to me, does not preclude her from debating, from making a contribution to it. And I believe at the end of the day, when it is time for them to vote on it, I don't believe that she should recuse herself.
No.
The conflict, the interest is there. It has been recorded in the register of interest as well. It is recorded there that she owns the property, or her family does, and
yes.
She's a member of that family. But that is only a small part of this whole scheme that is going into effect.
Yes.
Oh. But it'll be interesting. I'm sure that if push came to shove and they wanted to seek legal advice on it. But I believe that what I just shared there in relation to the fact that the public interest should trump any personal or private interest is sufficient.
In a democracy.
Yeah.
And what's a democracy? That's how it should be.
And she has the ability and the opportunity to demonstrate that as well, that that she's going to prove that the public interest is going to take precedence over the private interest as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. We need to take a commercial break first, right? So we take the commercial break. Caller, don't hang up. Quick commercial break. When we return, we will take your calls, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Health behaviours and lifestyle choices such as diet and smoking can be risk factors for non-communicable diseases. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey will allow the Ministry of Health and Wellness to gather important data on the health of the nation, including these risk factors. This information will inform our plans for the health needs of Cayman's residents, allowing us to better serve our population. Learn more by logging on to www.gov.ky/steps.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Do you own a Honda vehicle? There's currently an urgent safety recall regarding faulty Takata airbags in Honda vehicles in the Cayman Islands. As affected vehicles get older, a combination of high temperatures and humidity can affect airbags with the fault, placing you and your family at potential risk. Car City is currently replacing any defective airbags completely free of charge. To check whether your vehicle is affected, go to carcity.ky/recalls. If your vehicle is not affected, you will require a letter from Car City stating so for your next vehicle license inspection. Without this, your vehicle will not pass its inspection. Please contact Car City Service Team to arrange this by calling 949-5525 or go to carcity.ky/recalls. The safety of you and your family is important to Car City, so please take the time to check if your vehicle is affected by this urgent Honda safety recall.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good. My name is Charles Watler.
Yes, recognize the voice.
I just want to say that my father owns property adjacent to this land that Miss Heather's family owned.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been purchased over 80 years ago by her grandfather.
Wow.
And he gave it to his granddaughters. Now, this is common knowledge to me. Years ago, not just yesterday. And our land that I inherit from my father is adjoining this land. And this land is in line with the east-west arterial that's going to the east. So in order for this road to go east, because it's a big piece of land, it would have to go through their property from a new lands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like if, she's colluding and getting favoritism treatment, because some years ago, this east-west arterial has been designed to go up there, not yesterday. So I just want to say that this land came from her grandfather that has been purchased over 80 years ago. And we own land all along it for several hundred feet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, these reporters, it appears that that's all they have to do is be mischievous. I just wanted to clarify that it's not like she went out 6 months ago and purchased this land.
Mm-hmm,
Take advantage of it.
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Over 80 years ago, her grandfather bought this land.
Do you have any personal views on the east-west arterial and the extension there? What should be done about it?
I am waiting anxiously till when they can go through with that, because I went to town yesterday and it took me over 1 hour, and I live here in Lower Bala to get to town.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting anxiously till when it can be developed. I hear the first phase is going to be to Boston Town. So I think it's a good thing. It develops other people's land. It increases the value to your land. And at the same time, it enables you to get from one point to the other point very quickly. Imagine those kids from North Side and East End, what time they got to get up in the morning in order to reach school in Georgetown.
Mm-hmm. Now, if and when the road does open up, we have seen more and more development now creeping into the eastern districts. But and what we're starting to see also, not just single family homes, but developers wanting to build more condominium style residences. At some point in time, people really have to have the ability to say, well, I just want to have, a single plot, a family home. Do you have any views, in terms of whether or not there should be some restrictions in terms of the development that should take place there in that area?
I don't believe that there should be any restrictions, because if I want to go and buy a piece of land, a plot for my grandkids, I would be able to do it. Mm-hmm. Or if there's a condominium or apartments being built there, and I want to go give that to one of my grandkids, and they could be collecting rent to pay for the college.
Mm-hmm. But doesn't that increase the density, in the area? And that is one of the things that people are complaining about as well. That is what is creating so much of the traffic, is that, the density levels have increased as well.
Well, what they need to do is to reduce the number of people coming in here. That will reduce the density. because I got people, I would say at least once a week, come into my house looking work. I said, well, do you have a permit? They say, yeah. I said, well, why aren't you working there then? They say they only got 1 or 2 days. 2 days a week.
Yeah.
That is what needs to be tightened up. And I felt so strongly about it. I phoned up certain people on the immigration board, and they say they are aware of it, and they're tightening up on it. That's how strong I felt about it. And say, are you aware that this is taking place?
Yep. Okay.
So I would say, all of this is just reporters trying to earn their wages by by inflaming the situation. I own property right alongside of it. So if it came through our property, what they would say about me, and our property has been here for 100 years.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Watler, thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution, Ms. Susan. We have about 4 minutes. We take another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. This call is on WhatsApp.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sir Connor, and good morning to you, Dr. Steve.
Good morning again.
I just wanted to touch on the press. I think it was an excerpt from the press briefing that Mr. Connor read regarding the grave sites, the cemeteries.
Press release.
Press release. Thank you. I was listening to that, and I have to tell you, I was in utter shock that they're going to get strict about that. And please, I hope that no one misunderstands me, because, of course, I'm a very strong believer that, our loved ones who have passed on their resting places should be treated with the utmost respect. However, I do not believe that this is just to public cemeteries, because my mother is buried in a private cemetery, and I had asked the question to the people I purchased it from, if I could do something just slightly different. And I was the first person that had ever made that request. But anyway, the answer was that they wanted to keep all of them uniformed. And even though they're saying about I notice they use the word paint. I don't think that affects people who have, headstones with that adjoining slab of granite or marble. So maybe they may want to specify that, because some of them do have that on, and you'd actually destroy that plot if you tried removing it. But to add to that, why I was in utter shock about it is that when we purchased land after a certain time, all of the purchases had covenants attached, which we all signed. And a lot of them are being broken. We are the living. Some people still have mortgages. And yet these covenants are being broken. You call, you report, nobody can do anything about it. So I think this is a bit of a double standard, whether it's in the law or whether it's just their policy. So I think both should be treated the same, because after all, the living still have the stress of paying the bank, keeping the yard and so on, and also hoping to enjoy where they've invested. So if they can go after grave sites, I think what they need to do is to do it from a stance of respect and do some security there, so that people aren't going in there and removing what you've put on your loved one's grave. And I've spoken about that already. And I believe Dr. Steve said that there was somewhere in the law that covered that. But I just, had to voice my feelings about that this morning, because I really cannot believe that with all the issues that we have going on here in Cayman, that they're going to focus on that now. So I'd like to know where that brainchild came from, or maybe better yet, whom it came from. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
your time this morning. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, caller, as well. Folks, top of the hour, headline news, very short. When we return, the conversation will continue. We want to share with you also, some information on the Cayman Islands Development Bank. We're going to talk a little bit more about its code of conduct for members of parliament. Dr. McField is going to share with you details from the document. He will tell you who those members of parliament who have signed that code of conduct, the dates that they were signed as well. We will also share with you the response from the leader of the opposition to the premier in relation to their concerns about that code of conduct, and maybe in what was that letter written to the premier will give the reasons as to why the opposition have not signed as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
The Cayman Financial Services Institute has recently signed formal partnership agreements with European and Cayman-based universities for its 2 anticipated diploma programs. The FSI will provide education and training programs focused on professional development within the financial services industry. Ukrainian forces have advanced in various sections of the Bakhmut direction, according to Ukraine's deputy defense minister. Hanna Maliar said troops had switched from being defensive to offensive in the area in eastern Ukraine. Russia said it had defeated Ukrainian attacks near the city, which fell under Russian control in May. It comes as evacuations from flooded parts of the Kherson region continue after a major dam was breached yesterday. Ukrainian officials have warned that some 42,000 people are at risk from flooding, with water levels expected to peak in Kherson today. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says hundreds of thousands of people have been left without drinking water. Kyiv and Moscow have accused each other of damaging the dam, claims they both deny. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
HSA's cardiology clinic is now located at Smith Road Medical Center. Our cardiology team provides expert care and treatment for heart conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, hypertension, congenital heart diseases, among others. The new location offers state-of-the-art cardiac diagnostic testing, including echocardiograms, ECGs, and stress tests. To contact, call 949-8600. At HSA, your heart matters to us.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. No callers? Okay, Doc. We're going to cover two things here. We're going to look at the Code of Conduct. Members of Parliament. I have already shared some sections of that, and in particular the section that relates to conflict of interest. Let's see which members of the PAC team signed and when it was signed. And I think at the bottom of it says that they agree to it. So whether or not the whole thing still has to be adopted by the Parliament, it would seem to indicate there that those who have signed up to that code of conduct already,
yes,
that they're bound by it.
Yes, the signatures to the accept.
Bring that mic a little closer to you, Doc, please.
The signatures to the acceptance of the code of conduct, the parliamentary code of conduct, is members of Parliament, is the Honourable Jean Ween Panton, MP, JP MP, Premier. Mm-hmm. He signed on the 11th of the 11th last year. The Honourable Christopher Saunders, Christopher Saunders, MP, Deputy Premier, a member of former Deputy Premier, Member of Parliament. for Bordentown. He signed it also on that same date, 11th of November last year. Honorable Juliana O'Connor, Conley MP, JP, Member of Parliament for Cayman Brac. She also signed it on the 22nd of November last year. The Honorable Kenneth Bryan, Member of Parliament for Georgetown and Minister. He signed it on the 22nd of November last year. The Honorable Borna Bush also signed it on the MP for West Bay and Minister. He signed it on the 24th of 11th last year. Also the Honorable Andre Ebanks, the Minister of West Bay. He also signed it on the 22nd of November. The Honorable Minister Sabrina Connor at Turner, MP.
Mm-hmm.
She signed it on November the 11th also last year. The Honorable John Ebanks, Minister John Ebanks, he also signed it on the 22nd November last year. Isaac Rankin, the MP for East End, he signed it on the 22nd of November last year also. Dwayne Seymour, now Minister Dwayne Seymour for Border Control, Labour and so forth, he signed it on the 24th of November last year. The Honourable Heather Borden, the member for Savannah, Newlands from Savannah, she also signed it on the 21st of November last year. And the Honourable Catherine Wilkes, as now Speaker of the House, she signed it on the November the 17th last year. And the Honourable W. McKeever Bush, JP, who's now member, on the backbench, he signed it on the 26th of November last year. And then it's signed also not signed by any of the opposition. The Honourable Roy McTaggart never signed. Honourable Joseph Hugh did not sign. The Honourable Sir Arlen McLaughlin did not sign. The Honourable Moses Connell did not sign. The Honourable Barbara Conley MP did not sign. The Honourable David White, Member of Parliament David White did not sign. It's signed by the Honourable Franz Madison MBE and Deputy ex-official Member of Parliament and Deputy Governor. He signed on December the 7th last year. And Honourable Sam Bulgeon, ex-official Member of Parliament and Attorney General, he signs on the 5th of December last year.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the signatories.
Yep, and to remind the public that the standards in public life legislation, they're all bound by that, as well. As
whether they sign it or not, they're bound by it.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So, on the 4th of January 2023, then the leader of the opposition wrote a letter to Premier Panton. And it reads, in your New Year's Day message, you indicated that you had written to me to ask that the opposition members signed the proposed parliamentary code of conduct, a code that you knew has yet to address our concerns and to receive official sanction by the council. It is also telling that you wrote to me late evening on New Year's Eve to seemingly tick a political box prior to the broadcast of your message the following day. Premier, providing the country and Parliament with a solid and effective code for parliamentarians is more important than a mere political tick box exercise. Your proposed code does not even bind a future parliament and is, in many respects, almost useless. I didn't, this is a typo here that trying to decipher is that the signed documents usefully had the dates when members signed it. I note that the signed document usefully had the dates when members signed it. You and a few others signed it on the 11th of November 2022, with other members signing it between November 22nd, 2022 and December the 5th, 2022. At no point in November or December last year did you advise the opposition members of the council, including myself, that this was occurring. Remember, too, that we were in Parliament on December 7th and you could have readily asked the Speaker to convene a meeting of the Council to discuss a draft code. You did not do so because you knew we would not agree to this version. I remind you that our concern was made public in a published statement to the media in September last that stated, and I quote, "The opposition is concerned that the Parliamentary Code of Conduct has not progressed but any delay is not on the part of the opposition. The opposition certainly does support the opposition does support a code of conduct that is fit for purpose. However, we have told the government that we will not support a parliamentary code of conduct that does not stand up to serious scrutiny, is ineffective, and does not include an independent body to investigate and make a determination of any potential breaches of the code of conduct." So that is, a portion of what was
said by the opposition.
Said by the opposition in terms of them not signing it. And I'm only sharing this with you so that you get a proper perspective of what has transpired, with that. That does not detract from the point that we do have legislation that holds our elected officials accountable. We do have standards in public life legislation that holds them accountable. We have the Register of Interest as well. And we see where Cayman News Service in their article, they do acknowledge that Ms. Heather Borden's interest in that property is registered in the Register of Interests as well. It is quite obvious what the article, Cayman News Service article, they obviously targeted the Member of Parliament, Ms. Heather Borden, in this particular instance. And if they wanted to show, any appearance of non-bias, then why not, if they had the wherewithal to do so, look at all of the properties that are going to be affected by the road being extended. And they're all public records in the land registry in terms of, property ownership. So why not detail all persons? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you may find that there are others. You may not find that there are others. But to me, it would put more of a proper perspective on that as well. Doc, any comments from you?
No comments. At least it's some, Doc. At least it's a start. Why not sign it? And then you could say, well, this needs updating, and the other things need restructuring or whatever. I just don't understand. It seems to me that when one set of administrators or public administrators, government in particular, does something, every time it comes in that there's always some fault to be found with the other government who comes in or who takes over or who is left behind with the minimum amount of seats, and they don't form a government, or those who form the government and have the maximum amount of seats. There's always some problem with us. We seem not to have any belief in continuity at all. And that is part of our Achilles heel, and that's part of what other people come in and take advantage of us. It seems to me that at least sign it, and you can say, "Well, I signed up to this, and it's not 100%. It may be 80% or 90%, but at least I'm signed up to it. Mm-hmm. At least I demonstrated that I want to have a code of conduct."
Yes. Okay, folks, we have to take that commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Yeah, man! Gospel full of vibes! The moment you've been waiting for is finally here. Patricia Bowen live in concert.
I got heaven on my mind. Ha! Move, Satan, move. You can't catch me again.
Also featuring Second Chance.
My heart is hungry.
Christopher Lang.
Step on the enemy, step on the enemy.
And a host of other gospel artists. All road leads to the All Nation Pentecostal Banquet Hall in the Swamp on Saturday, June 10th at 7 p.m. Admission $25 prepaid, $35 at the gate. Children under 10, $15. So get your tickets, man. Get your tickets today. Get your tickets at Funky Tank, Beauty Behind the Veil, Value Med Pharmacy, and your church member, MC by your boy Omar and Paul Llewellyn. This concert is sponsored by Vice Closet, Smart Fix, CNR Caregiver, Black Panthers Hair Club, Value Med Pharmacy. Cayman Islands wanna dance. Me say gospel full of vibes. Come in and get your tickets now.
Can't catch me again. Come on, man. Can't catch me again. My God, you hold me down for a very long.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. So one of our listeners, Doc, has written and says, how long do you think that code of conduct will be valid for? What happens after the next election? And then they pointed at other members who own land where the road is going through or also voted. Again, it's a private member's motion in relation to whether or not that environmental impact assessment was necessary, for it. In my view, an environmental impact assessment would, to me, be more positive for any landowner in the area because it will tell them how their property would be affected by it. But again, to me, it was not a substantial issue. It has to do with the environmental impact assessment, whether or not that was necessary for the road to go through. In terms of the road going through, if funds had to be voted for it and things of that nature, that would have been a different thing. At the end of the day. And all it means is we don't know. And whether or not it is covered in the standing orders or whatever, whether or not a member of parliament would be precluded from debating if they declared a interest because they own property in the road, and they would be precluded from debating, because then you, like you said earlier, Doc, you're preventing them from representing the interests of their constituents and the people of the Cayman Islands.
Exactly, and you know, it reminds me, for the record, of the old song comes out of Casablanca. As time goes by, it's just the same old story. We'll rather fight for love and glory, and a case of do or die. And it seems to me that the similar thing has happened with the district council's law.
Mm-hmm.
It came in, and a group came in and said, "Well, we're not going to put it in because this is what's wrong with it. We find this offensive. We don't agree with this." And they had how many 2 terms in which to fix it, and they never fixed it. And then the others came in and they said, "Oh, they campaign on it. Oh, we're going to have the district councils. We're going to set them up. They're going to be part of it." You know, those institutions supporting democracy is part of the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and yet there's no district councils law. I mean, how much can the public take? I noticed that the Speaker of the House and the Honourable Ms. Wilkes and the MP for I think she's the MP for
who's that?
It's the Speaker. She's a member of Parliament. It's for
West.
Oh, West Bay West. No, West Bay West.
I think it is. I'll double check.
Or West Bay Central. One of those constituencies.
Yep.
I know that she's attempting to do something about it, and I applaud her for trying to bring it to the forefront.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I just wondered how long is it going to be before politicians allow their people who they are elected to represent to participate into the democratic system. For me, there's no excuse for this, and it seems to me that everyone who doesn't want something, they always have some excuse to say about it, or some excuse, something to find wrong, and that they can hide behind the curtain and peep around the corner and make all kinds of remarks about it.
Okay. One of our listeners has written, and Doc, I'm communicating with someone about what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to ask you to read that message from one of our listeners as well. I think it starts off by Y sign something. Okay?
Okay. This was 9/13. It says, "Why sign a document that is ineffective and does not provide adequate protection to parliamentarians? There needs to be an independent body such as the Standards in Public Life Commission to investigate and form a view as to any wrongdoing. Those accused must have," and I don't see it here. What's that? Can you find the rest of that for me, please?
Okay, there we go.
It says those accused must have a framework to properly defend themselves spelled out in the code. That is absent, and the code should have followed the prescribed method to get approval to move forward. It did not, and it ignored the views and recommendations of the Constitutional Commission. It was a political tick box exercise for the Premier. The fact that it has not gone anywhere shows this to be the case, in my view. Well, it seems to me that it speaks for itself. A overwhelming member of the Parliament, Cayman Parliament, signed to adopt it, accept it, and that is what that satisfies me.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Doc. Okay, let's see. One of our listeners has said they should have abstained from voting. No, I disagree that there's no need to abstain from voting in this particular case, because while there was an interest there, there wasn't a conflict. The interests did not conflict.
It had not materialized yet.
Right, exactly. And even if it does, then what we have to weigh is, then how does that member of parliament, how is that person then able to represent the interest of her constituency and her people by recusing herself from voting? That would be the dilemma, and that is where I guess, like you would do in law, Doc, you would look for the precedents and see what the precedents would be, in relation to it.
Exactly. So it's very unfortunate that some of our people don't understand these principles that have been laid down and that have been enforced for centuries and generations to generation. It's very. To me, it rubs me the hard way, just to know that our people are so cut up off of something as simple as the incident, and it seems to me that they should be better equipped to analyze the things before they make their views known on the public. Because to me, it's very simple, and it doesn't have any merit whatsoever.
Okay. So, Doc, I see my phone started to light up, and everyone is, I shouldn't say everyone is concerned, but some concern has been expressed. You're going to be talking about Cayman Islands Development Bank? Are they in the studio with you? Who's in the studio? What are you going to be talking about the Cayman Development Bank? Folks, no one is in here. This was something that followed from what I was talking about before. We had people on previous shows expressing their concerns about the high interest rates, what the commercial banks are doing in the Cayman Islands, in terms of every time that the U.S. Prime rate goes up, then you get a notice from your commercial bank, your local bank, telling you in a few days it's going to go up for you, and it keeps going up, and it keeps going up. And I was trying to show people what other options that they may have in the Cayman Islands. One of those options that I've said to persons is look to see whether or not you qualify as a member of the Cayman Islands Civil Service Cooperative Credit Union.
They and their families have an outlet.
Yep, and they may have offers that are different and maybe more attractive to you than what you're getting, at the institution that you're currently at. I also mentioned the fact that we have the Cayman Islands Development Bank. Talk about whether or not their remit, mortgages was part of their remit, and if they aren't part of their remit, then maybe we should look towards that. So I promised myself and my audience that I would do some research on the Cayman Islands Development Bank to see what they offered. And I did that. How did I do that? I did that by going on their website and seeing what the Cayman Islands Development Bank was all about. So when you go on the Cayman Islands Development Bank's website, you find the various services that they offer, and I will read this. It says the Cayman Islands Development Bank is a leading provider of a range of loans, sound financial counseling, and the right financial and technical assistance. We help you realize your dreams, whether you want to pursue further education, expand a business, or purchase a home. So it is on there. I don't know any details about the Cayman Islands Development Bank, and I certainly would welcome their members of the board or the managing director, if they want to come in to talk about the services that the Cayman Islands Development Bank offers, that they will. It is not intended to critique or to negatively critique the Cayman Islands Development Bank. I'm not going to critique
any other banking institutions.
Exactly. Is to say to you, or listening and viewing audience, what other options may be out there for you. Now, maybe I shouldn't have to do that.
Yes,
as a radio talk show host. Maybe it's those institutions should be doing that and say, people, we know that you are hurting.
Yes.
We know what is happening to you. Here is what we have to offer. So, folks, don't get alarmed out there about anything. Not going to say anything bad about the Cayman Islands Development Bank. Not going to say anything bad about the credit union. We're going to just say what you offer, and I'm not going to make it up. I'm going to just take it from your website. So we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual-specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
If custom closets or new kitchen cabinets are on your wish list, now is the time to strike them off the list. Brand Source Home Gallery is offering 20% off on kitchen cabinets and custom closets. Now until Saturday, June 10th. Go in now before the sale event ends on June 10th, and you'll have until August 31st to save 20% on the purchase of your dream custom closets or kitchen cabinets. Brand Source Home Gallery's 20% off kitchen cabinets and custom closet sale, ending June 10th. Sign up, get a voucher, and purchase before August 31st. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive or call 623-5000 for details.
Water Authority Cayman would like to advise their valued customers that the office in Cayman Brac will be closed on Friday, June 9th from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for a staff function. Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this closure may cause and thanks the public for their patience and understanding.
Can you tell me what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates! Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shout-out live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shout-outs live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture. Tap into your roots. More Than Words, second floor, Thompson Building.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. Like I said before we went to the commercial break, looking at other options that people may have in relation to commercial banks when it comes to loans and in particular mortgages. And while we do, understand that, money in the Cayman Islands is not limitless, and there are some institutions that may have a better, higher financial wherewithal than others. They're there to serve others. So they're here to serve the public. So I did some research, went on the Cayman Islands Development Bank's website, and as a matter of fact, in the old days, and we had one of our Caymanian stalwart, Mr. Stasis Solomon, who returned to the Cayman Islands. And I believe he was the first manager. It was called the AIDB then.
AIDB, yes.
Agricultural
and Development Bank. Something like that.
Industrial Development Bank at the time. And then we changed it to Cayman Islands Development Bank. So here is what it says about affordable mortgages. It says, what is the Affordable Home Mortgage Program? The affordable, and it reads, the Affordable Home Mortgage Program is offered by the Cayman Islands Development Bank, CIDB, to finance the purchase of a 2 or 3 bedroom home under construction by the National Housing and Development Trust. So that's where they offer through the National Housing and Development Trust. CIDB offers competitive fixed interest rates over a 5-year term and options for either 95% or 100% financing with those loans. And then it talks about some of the general requirements, that are required. And let me see what else is there in relation to mortgages. I want to make sure. Okay, here we go. NDHT home mortgages. I think I could swear I saw something on there the other yesterday about that. But so it appears as if this may be restricted to the National Housing and Development Trust, the loans that are offered through them. I am going to go ahead, Doc. You want to say something?
So what is your impression? What do you think that the loans are only for 5 years? Because that's not such a long time. I mean, the payments are going to be really high, because
What was it? Did it say 5 years there?
I think that's what you said.
Let me look back at that.
A 5-year term.
Okay, services, home and mortgage loans. Click on that. And okay, here's a good one. This one says Cayman Islands Development Bank is a leading provider of a range of loans, sound financial counseling, underwrite financing, and technical assistance. We help you realize your dreams, whether you want to pursue further education, expand a business, or purchase a home. Cayman Islands Development Bank provides mortgage loans under its Home Ownership Made Easy program to Caymanians and Caymanian status holders. If you qualify, the Home Mortgage Finance Program will assist you in one of 2 different ways. And here we go. This loan will assist you to 1. Purchase a house, condominium, or apartment. 2. Construct a house on owned land to be built by an approved contractor. It goes on the website to say, would you qualify for a home loan in the Cayman Islands Development Bank? Certainly, and these are how you would qualify, if the cost of constructing the house does not exceed $600,000, that is provided you have the land on which to build. Or if you want to purchase a house, the cost of the entire property, including the land, cannot exceed $600,000. If you have stable and continuous employment, if you can prove that you are able to make your mortgage payments, if you can contribute 10%, 20%, or 30% towards the cost of the house. Loan to value up to 70% interest rate is 3.75%. Loan to value up to 80% interest rate, 4%. Loan to value up to 90% interest rate is 5%. If you can afford to meet the closing costs as well, so you got to be able to do that. And if you are able to fulfill all of those requirements, we are ready when you are. Now, what it doesn't talk about here is, refinancing, which a lot of persons who find themselves near to foreclosure may want to look to refinance through another
for a longer time.
And through another institution. They don't mention it here as well. But my point is, we have the credit union, we have the CIDB, two of the few, if any, that are locally owned anymore.
Yes.
Shouldn't we be looking at their remit to see whether or not how we can take this forward, whether or not it's addressing the needs, today's needs, or to look to address the future needs as well? Because based on what the forecasts, what we're hearing from the forecast, it's going to get much more difficult financially and otherwise for persons, later on down the road. So maybe, we should look at reimagining these institutions to fit the needs of the Cayman Islands, public today. We know the credit union, they're limited in terms of, what some of the services that they offer, as well. We need to look at, offering, credit cards, not just a card that allows you to withdraw money from from an ATM,
yes.
but it allows you to go into, a business and to use it as well. Otherwise, people of the Cayman Islands are lost. You mentioned the fact that some of these institutions now, where they're going to the face-to-face and digital. Yes. How some people in the Cayman Islands are going to be able to survive as a result of that.
Some people don't have the whereas the means to do digital banking, because some people only get paid by a check or something like that, and then they have to take the check to their bank to cash it so they can survive for that week or for that month, and then it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. And the problem is that it seems to me, this is just my opinion. I mean, I would like to hear what your listeners have to say about this, but it seems to me that if the CDB is limited with how much money that they can finance, why not use some of the money that people have in their pension plans? Mm-hmm. It seems to me that would be a better option than giving it to people out in the stock market who goes and play the stock market with that money, and then they lose it and then say, I'm sorry, there's nothing we could do, we lost it. And I hear people complain about it losing 10, 15, some up to $20,000 from their pension plan a year. Yep. It seems to me that would be a better option than the government would take some of that money and put from the pensions and put it into the bank to finance people locally. Yeah. It seems to me that would be a better option than playing with the stock market.
Okay, and I'm no financial expert, but when it comes to pension funds and their investment, they're going to go up and they're going to go down because it's a long-term commitment that you have. So that to remember. Ms. Susan, we want to remind our listening and viewing audience about the Parliament starting at 10 o'clock. And it will be carried live on a Breeze 105.3 on Radio Cayman as well. That is at 10 o'clock. And in the BRAC, you can follow it on 91.9 as well. We're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue, and I know that I've been doing all of the talking and raising all of the topics, and I'm sure, Doc, there may be some things in particular that you may want to talk about as well, and I want to give you that opportunity when we return. So, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Yes, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Why replace when you can respray? At Granite Express Cayman, we can completely transform your old kitchen cabinets with a fresh kitchen respray for just a fraction of the cost of buying new ones. Big news! Our summer special promo is here. We are offering kitchen countertop specials up to 50 square feet installed for only $1,595 CI for granite and $1,895 for quartz. We can make your dream kitchen come true and at a price to suit all budgets. Call 922-0424 for a free estimate, friendly service, fast installation. Hurry! Limited time only while supplies last. Visit graniteexpresscayman.com.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I want to share some comments again from our listening audience. This person has opined. The person says that if we had the advisory district councils to bridge the communication with residents and constituents, with the representative, especially with those that will be affected, the outcome might have been very different. They go on to talk about the credit union, and they say that the credit union is now operating, like a commercial bank, which is not necessarily very encouraging to attract new members or members to continue with them. And they feel that personally that the credit union has gotten a lot of things wrong. And I must say, remember, while there are professionals in the management of the credit union, in terms of the managing director and the staff there. We should bear in mind that the whole idea of our credit union was members helping members.
Yes.
And in that effect, with it being run by members as well. So you have entities like the credit committee, the supervisory committee. They're all persons who are volunteers, to assist the credit union. Unlike
the banks,
commercial banks, who, if you're board of director, you get paid and you get certain perks.
Yes,
if you're a board of director of CUC, you're handsomely paid, for what you do.
SEMA, you get paid too.
Exactly. So, but again, this is my point, Doc, that the pressure is coming so hard on us here in the Cayman Islands. We talk about losing our identity. It is more existential than just losing our identity.
Yes.
We may lose our ability to survive if we do not create or recreate some of the institutions that we have in the Cayman Islands to address the needs of Caymanians.
That's
Doc,
right.
I'm going to turn the mic over to you. You give them hell.
And as I said before, I think this is my opinion. I would like to hear what your visitor have to say. I said before that it would seem to me that if the funding is limited with the CDB, Cayman Development Bank, then the government should think about using some of the pension money to fund it, so that Caymanians can benefit from their own money, That's what I said. It seems to me that would look to be a better deal, a better option than having it out on the stock market, speculating every day as to whether or not the stock market will go up or go down, or whether they're gonna win or lose. That seems to me an option. Of course, I know what people are going to say. Well, government shouldn't handle a lot of people's money and so forth. Government has handling our money from ever since government became government.
Exactly.
They have been handling our money. They have been handling our money through the taxes that they have imposed on us, and been handling our money. So I don't see, but when you put the right institutions in place, that is not possible.
Yep, I agree. So, Doc, one of our listeners was saying that they know that you would disagree with a code of conduct for employees if it didn't include protections, certain protections, regardless of how many attorneys signed it.
Well, put it in.
Yeah.
Put it in. Look how long this has been. Put it in. Negotiate the code of conduct, negotiate it or renegotiate it, and put in what you think would satisfy yourself, and so forth. I don't understand why you just walk away from it.
And I don't believe that a code of conduct has necessarily say that this binds the other member, because it is something that you will be required if you become a member of parliament to sign.
Exactly.
As well. We do have one caller. We're going to try to accommodate this last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OCA. Good morning, Mr. Steve.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm 100% backing you with that, Mr. Steve, about using the pension. Because using the pension here on this island will be that you will never have a loss. You will never have a loss. You will have 110% increase. So the things that I see I'm going on here with is pure foolishness. I would like to sit down with you guys and show on every I have looked into it, because the housing scheme project, the old one, was just a fraud. You know how many people that they lost their homes and then got nothing back out of it, paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And that's a natural fact from experience, because I was one of them.
Caller, did this have to do with them being destroyed in the hurricane and not being rebuilt?
Mine didn't got destroyed in the hurricane. I'm still living in mines.
Okay.
I keep mines up that, like, if you go to it, it's a home. It's not a house, like what they call it. Like what they were saying that the old home was abandoned. When we have electricity, when we have water, when you have an able woman in the house to mop it, clean it, and I cutting the yard and cutting around the surroundings. Those the team that first housing scheme was a complete fraud underneath Frank McField. And I could tell that to the world because that's the truth.
Well, I would be careful when I use the word fraud, because that would
imply that he committed to some sort of criminal offense.
Yeah, so I would caution you on using that.
So try to use another word.
Caution, but the truth is that it has to be exposed, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that using the pension in the islands, you will never have a loss like how they've been putting it on hedge funds and the falling and this and that. You will always pay your mortgage to try to keep your home up. And you will never have a loss in your pension system.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is, buying into CUC the water authorities will make that pension grow. It will make the pension grow. The Danish, they invested into electricity.
Yes.
But right now, I was looking into this system. Each one of their citizens, government has what you call revenue for them, where they took their pension and invested it. Look into it, then you can see what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Okay.
I will.
Thank you very much, caller. One last WhatsApp message as well, and this one ties in with the same topic that the caller just spoke about. This person says, "Good morning, Mr. Connor. We should stop talking voodoo economics in relation to pensions. As you said, Mr. Connor, pensions are for the long term, not short term. Cayman does not have any retirement or social security. If we destroy our pensions or invest in local pork barrel projects, what will retirees have to buy food with when they have no money?" So they're saying, no, we have talked about this before, and you don't necessarily have to invest all of your pension. You don't put all of your eggs in one basket. You can take, a small fraction of it and invest it and see what happens. Not all pension fund investments are successful.
Exactly.
And not all of them are unsuccessful either.
And you don't have to invest them in pork barrel ventures.
Yes.
You can invest them in property real estate. What grows more in Cayman than property real estate value? And it seems to me that anyway you cut it, it would be a better offer than having it on speculation in some New York stock exchange or whatever.
Okay.
That's the way I put it.
Well, Doc, we know you have a busy day. You have to go off to court as well, but it has been, very interesting, conversation this morning. We've touched on so many bases, and again, my emphasis is that we need to look at the local institutions that we have in the Cayman Islands. That from their inception, they were designed to accommodate and to help Caymanians, and they should not remain, stuck in time, frozen in time. They have to evolve with the times as well.
And on another note, to invest some pension funds in real estate is better than giving it to people to invest in buying $60,000, $50,000 on motor cars.
Right, yeah.
That's what I said.
And when I know that some people are fearful, in terms of government, let's say, investing more, putting more money, let's say, for instance, in the Cayman Islands Development Bank, because there are those people out there who believe, well, if the government is offering it, then I can abuse it.
Yes,
I can decide that I am not going to pay my mortgage, and then we can shame the government and say, well, look at what the government is doing. They're putting these people out of their homes. They're doing the same thing as the commercial banks. You have an obligation when you take out a loan to pay it back. If you have difficulties, then you go and speak to the person
whoever the lendee
who
is.
has loaned you the money and
Yes.
present your case to them and see what can be done with that as well. Doc, again, thank you very much, folks. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Drainey Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Join Radio Cayman 10 o'clock on 105.3 FM to listen to the parliamentary proceedings live as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy. Taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.